Buongiorno a tutti, mi chiamo Charlotte e oggi parliamo del verbo italiano liberare, che vuol dire in inglese to liberate or to free. Okay? So, everyone in this month's Italian club video, we're looking at the verb liberate or to free, which is in Italian liberare. So it looks like this up here, Liberare. And it can be translated in lots of ways, but mainly the verb to free in English or to liberate, to make something free, to render something free, to release. There's loads, there's even to deliver. What are the other ones? There's lots and lots of them, ways to translate it. So what I've done is I've gone to, I went to Dizionario Internazionale, went to the page on there where you can, where liberare is noted, and there's lots and lots of different definitions on there. So we're looking at definitions that have been adapted from the Dizionario Internazionale website, which is in Italian. There's lots of, if you go there, you know, you can type it in, or if you're one of my club members, you can find the link to the original text, which I've amended on the handout, which is this one. Eccolo qua. But what I've done is I've just taken the first three significations, meanings, and I've adapted them slightly to make them sort of fit on the board and not too wordy, and just hopefully quite useful. So here they are. Let's have a look what we've got. So, liberare. Where's my pen? Dov'è la penna? Eccola. Rimettere in libertà. To set free. Libertà, that little accent, sort of grave accent over the A, puts the emphasis on libertà, and you get it in a lot of words that correspond to having a sort of nouns that correspond to having that ty ending in English. Okay. Restituire alla libertà. Esempio, liberare un prigioniero. So, for example, to restore to liberty or freedom, to liberate a prisoner. Un prigioniero. Uno schiavo. Uno schiavo is a slave. Okay. And liberare un animale dalla gabbia. Dalla gabbia. So, or to release an animal from or from the cage. Right, to release a caged animal. So that's the first one. Then we have number 2. Rendere libero da un'oppressione, un assedio. Liberare un paese dalla dittatura. Liberare una città dai nemici. So what we actually have here, it might not be so easy to see, is some kind of definitions and then some examples. So if, for example, you're liberating something or freeing something and you're restoring it to freedom or setting it free, you could, for example, be talking about setting or releasing a prisoner, liberating a slave, or releasing an animal from a cage. Okay, to free an animal from a cage. So there's a few different verbs that you can use in English as well as Italian, but the meaning can be sort of substituted by the Italian noun liberare. Okay, so it's quite a useful verb because it has these different ways of translating in English. Okay, so let's have a look. This one here, to make free or to render free, to free from, for example, un'oppressione, from oppression. Okay, something that's like it could be an oppressive society, political kind of system, or it could be a dynamic within a home or a workplace or something, sort of oppression. Un assedio, a siege. What's the next one? Liberare un paese dalla dittatura. So that is to free a country, un paese, dalla dittatura. That's a dictatorship. Okay, and there's someone in charge, and they're making everyone do things the way they want to do, and you can't really go against what they're saying, or you'll be vilified. Liberare una città dai nemici. So to liberate a city from enemies. Okay, nemico, nemici, plural. Enemies, like it's a bit like the word nemesis. Okay, person who's against you. Then what have we got for number 3? Sottrarre a ciò che procura tormento o fastidio. Esempio, per esempio, liberare qualcuno da una malattia, sottrarre alla presenza di una persona molesta o fastidiosa, liberare qualcuno di un demonio, esorcizzarlo. I'll come down to the last bit in a minute. So the first bit is to sottrarre, so to remove from ciò che means that which. Okay, from that, something that. Ciò che, so that which is what I would say that translates as, but you can also say what. So to remove from what brings about or causes. Procurare, to procure or to bring about or to cause. Torment. And then fastidio is like an annoyance. Sorry, I'm unwell today. I've got a sore throat. Maligola, a febbre, a fever, and tosse, like coughing. So I'm not quite myself today. So excuse me if I sniff or if I cough, or I just generally look a little bit tired and weary, because I am. Scusatemi. So remove from that which causes torment or bother or annoyance. For example, liberare qualcuno. So to free, qualcuno is someone. Qualcuno. If you use the word qualche followed by a singular noun, qualche persona, some people, qualche posto, some place, qualche volta, sometimes, then it means some. And if you sort of look at the word qualcuno, which means someone, you've got this qualc and then uno together, okay, which is similar to qualche and uno, qualcuno. To remove someone from, no, that doesn't make sense. To free someone, to release someone from an illness. We don't really use to free or to release, or to remove someone from an illness. What would we say in English? Maybe to free someone of an illness. Like, you could also say to free up, like to free up space. In English, it would be free up. Free some space, free up some space. Free up some time, that kind of thing. So I'm not quite sure how we translate that one. But it's got a sense of taking something away that inhibits or causes bother or torment, Sottrarre alla presenza di una persona molesta o fastidiosa. So to remove from the presence of an annoying or bothersome person. Okay. And then this last one's interesting. Remember, this is just the first few of quite a lot of ways of defining the verb liberare, okay, with a few examples for each of the three kind of definitions, but there's lots of other definitions and ways it's used, this verb's used. You can find it on the Dizionario Internazionale website or any other dictionary website, Treccani, word reference even, but in fact I include the Italian to English translations on the link to that within this handout, just so that you can easily click and have a look at the very many ways that the verb is translated on there. For example, and it all depends on the context. So for example, to free or release, clear or rid, relieve, release, set free from, release, what are the other ones? Emanate, yeah. Get rid of, avoid, free oneself. All sorts of ways of translating into English the verb liberare, depending on the context, okay? So this last one. Liberare qualcuno di un demonio. To liberate someone or to free someone from a demon, right? Whether that's a literal one or not, but excuse me, I think it must be literal. Excuse me, literal in this case, because we then have a further clarification. Excuse me. Scusatemi. Esorcizzarlo. To exorcise him. Okay, so it could literally be speaking about freeing a person from a demon. So here we've got something that's noted on the original link as being something that you get in certain areas of Italy. The same. Dio ci liberi da una simile sciagura. Dio ce ne scampi e liberi. God save us from such a misfortune. God save us and deliver us. And deliver us from evil. Okay. So I thought that was interesting. That's written down here. Dio ci liberi da una simile sciagura. Dio ce ne scampi e liberi. So the main thing here is for you to understand, well, really, it's just to listen to some Italian words and to see if you understand what it says, and to find a new resource that you can go to and learn from and do some reading on, But let's have a look at some of the verbs, just because they might be things that you've come across. So mettere would be to put, rimettere is to sort of, it does mean to set free here, but to put back. Let's see if I can find a nice translation for rimettere. Yeah, put back. When you've got this suffix ri, in front of a verb in Italian, it means to redo something or to do it again. Or here we've got the verb mettere, which means to put or to place. So if you put something, if you put re in front of to put, it can mean to put back, okay, to place again. So let's see other ways. Restore, put back, okay. So there's a sense of, what was that, like a restoring to a state that existed at some point before, okay. But to put back in, rimettere in libertà. Libertà is the noun that means freedom. La libertà. So to put back in liberty. So that, you've got an interesting verb there, rimettere, and then you've got the noun libertà. Then we've got restituire. Restituire. So let's have a look at how we translate that. There's a cognate which is similar. Restituire. restore, return something to previous state. Yeah, okay. Similar, I guess, with the R and the E at the beginning of that verb. It gives you a sense of going back to a previous state, to restore to liberty, I suppose. Then we've got lots of repetitions of liberare un prigioniero, to release a prisoner. It's funny how the what's the word? Sorry, my head's somewhere else. The definitions of the verb to liberate include the verb to liberate. Anyway, these are sort of examples, I suppose, in the Italian text. The examples are in like italics. Okay. So the examples of restoring something's freedom or putting back in giving back freedom, give examples to free a prisoner or a slave, uno schiavo, or un animale dalla gabbia. So we've got lots of repetitions of liberare. We've got some useful nouns there: prisoner, slave, or an animal. So the next verb that we have is rendere. Now, to render something. So rendere qualcuno or qualcosa, and then to make them something. So for example, you could make someone happy. Rendere felice qualcuno. Rendere what can you make something? You make someone happy, make someone sad. Rendere triste. Rendere stanco. Rendere libero. So you can follow that verb with an adjective such as free, sad, happy, tired, bored, whatever, to make someone something. So it can be translated into English as render or to make when it's followed by an adjective. In fact, I've got a video on that somewhere in my Italian playlist, so go and have a look if you want, or just have a look anywhere online. Sometimes the verb in English that we use to make in Italian sometimes is the verb to render, okay? Yeah. But opposingly or contrastingly, if you make someone smile, you don't use the verb rendere, you use the verb fare. Far sorridere, far ridere, to make someone laugh, for example. Okay? So we've got the verb rendere, and then we've got liberare again. Liberare, sottrarre, so to remove or subtract. Sottrarre. I know that I don't often sound some words with double letters or R's very well because it's hard individually. And sometimes I get the emphasis in wrong places, but you can just check that. And sometimes people in the comments just say, actually the emphasis is there, Italian natives, and I really appreciate that. Thank you. Grazie. Yeah, so sottrarre is to subtract or to take from something. But it can also be to subtract, as in like the mathematical kind of sense, to take something away from. But also, what was the other one too? What was the other one I said? I think I just said subtract or take away. To remove. To remove. A ciò che procura. That's another verb. Procurare, that which brings about or causes or procures, if you like, torment and bother or annoyance. So we've got rimettere, rendere, sottrarre, procurare, sottrarre again, liberare, demonio, esorcizzare, Okay, esercitare there has got lo at the end because it's referring back to, I don't know if it's referring back to the demon or the person, presumably it's the demon because it's lo. Exorcise it, like to exorcise the demon, right? So that's another infinitive verb, okay? What else have we got there? We've got liberi, scampare. I think that's scampare, that should be to run away from. Yeah, to escape or avoid, to survive something or to cheat death, for example. So, what was it in English? To deliver us. I've got a nice translation of that here. Yeah, save us and deliver us. God save us and deliver us. Excuse me. So as well as those verbs, which I think are quite useful or interesting ones that could be used in other contexts, we've also got a fair few prepositions in this text, and I thought I'd just look at them now. There's lots of a and di and da, okay, variations of them. So let's have a look at what we've got. Rimettere in libertà. In just means, well, it often means in, right? Put back into freedom, to freedom, we'd say in English. Alla is the article a plus the no, it's not. It's the preposition a, which means to, normally, plus the article la, which comes together and becomes alla, with a double L, alla. Dalla is the preposition da, which means from, and the article la, which precedes gabbia, because la gabbia is a feminine noun, so la is the article. So da and la come together, we add an extra L and it becomes dalla, from the cage. In alla dalla. Then we've got da on its own, which just means from, free from an oppression. We've got dalla again, because it's preceding dittatura. La dittatura, the dictatorship, is a feminine noun. So to free a country from the, if you like, dictatorship. And now we have to free a city, liberare una città dai nemici. Sorry, that's a bit hard to say because there must be a blur on the camera. Now, nemici is a masculine plural noun. So instead of dalla or dalle or variations of da plus an article, we have da plus I nemici, the enemies, if you like. Da plus I becomes dai. Okay, so that's another combined or articulated preposition. So it's just, you see that a lot in Italian, okay? There's a whole kind of table you can get with them. It's just like combined preposition table, Italian, or Italian articulate preposition table. Search for those, you'll find them, and you'll go, oh my god, there's loads. But when you see that it's just you've got to just recognise which preposition to use. If you know all of those, and then you know all the articles, il, la, l'apostrofo, I, le, vi, then you just put them all together and it becomes kind of second nature. Right? So we've got that again here, that means from, di means of, alla, to the. Okay. And then di again, which means of. So there we have just a few definitions, not even scraping the surface really, of the verb liberare. And I may at some point look at some others, or I might look at a different verb, whatever seems to be relevant for whatever reason at the time. And what I'll do for my club members is send this handout via email as a PDF. You can print it Generally what I say is that you print it or look at it on your tablet, your device, whatever, as you're watching this video tutorial so that you can read along, see what I'm looking at in front of you at the same time as I'm talking. And of course you can just stop, go and get a drink, go to the bathroom, whatever you need to do in your own time. You can always replay it. So if you're interested in becoming a member of my Italian club, I send a video link and a handout, something like this, every month. I also have a French club, and when I can I'll be starting an English language club too, because it is my native language, and there's a great many people who seem to want to study English. So you can find all the information about my language clubs in the description box below. And just before I leave, I think what I'll do is I'll just see if you can do a little test, this little activity, see if you can pick out some of the words that we've encountered. So, come si dice in italiano to procure or to cause? Come si dice? Si dice, è abbastanza simile, it's quite similar. Si dice procurare. So here we've got the third person singular, to procure. It procures, but it's an ARE verb, so it ends in an R and an E. Come si dice to make or to render? Another verb. Si dice rendere, R-E-N-D-E-R-E. Okay, often followed by an adjective. Okay. Come si dice the country in italiano? Paese, il paese, un paese. Even though it ends with an E, that's a masculine noun. Some nouns in Italian end with an E, whether they're masculine or feminine. They could be masculine or they might be feminine. Animale is another one that's a masculine noun, ends with an E. Un animale. But it is a masculine noun, okay? Because that one starts with an A, with a vowel, if you're going to say the animal, you would say l'animale. You put an L apostrophe in front of it and pronounce it as if it's one word together, not l'animale, but l'animale. Okay. Come si dice freedom? Okay, so this is a cognate of the verb liberare. Libertà. Libertà. La libertà. Very nice. La libertà. So, what I'll do is I'll send this out to my club members. Thank you for your support and understanding. Sometimes I haven't been able to send these videos out on time, and you're always really understanding, so thank you for that. Please feel free to leave a message or comment underneath if you like, and do feel free to get in touch if you have any suggestions for future club content. I'm open to ideas. So on here we've got 3 links. So the first one, in this handout, is a link to the original text of Dizionario Internazionale. I have adapted it, chopped a load of things out just because I have to fit certain things on the page, and not all of it's relevant, but that's where it comes from. I've also got a link to the entry Liberare from Italian to English on wordreference.com. Good little quick link for you to go and have a little peruse through there, and a link to this video tutorial. Anyway, grazie mille e alla prossima volta. Ciao!